And this actually, before we get started, I wanted to just tell you guys that Shopify, if you're looking to start your business from beginning to end, go check out the link down below. They're our special sponsor for this episode, and I just wanted to put that out there. Right now, if you go down to the link, you can bring your ideas to life for $1 a month. That's right. You can get a free trial and enjoy your first month for $1. This Shopify is an e-commerce platform that can help you start your business, get it ready, get it going, and along the way, help you build it up. So you should go check them out. Try the free trial. See what you got. Bring your creativity to life. Shopify. Use our link down below. That's our sponsor link. So thank you, Shopify, for sponsoring this episode. So your video is coming out soon, and just touch down on it again for anybody listening to the podcast later or watching, or even watching this review. We kind of went all out for Dune. I really liked Dune, the first Dune, when I first saw it. So I knew going to the second one, I really liked the book as well. I read the book when I was young. I actually think I might reread it because it's been a long time. And I want to read it as an adult.
Right.
And really kind of get those themes down. So before we get to the review of the first Dune, which is a re-review from me, I'm going to do something real quick with it. You can go back and check out my other review in 2021 when it came out, but I'm going to let Paul do most of it for this. But the cool thing is, I also did a Does It Suck for Dune 1984, and we're going to have a movie-going experience coming out because, Paul, why don't you take it away and explain what you did this week?
So this past weekend, I got the awesome opportunity to take my little brother Braxton to go see his first movie in a theater, and I absolutely was thrilled to take him to go see Dune 2. So we'll be talking about that lightly. He's a man of few words, but
it's adorable though. It was a wonderful little interview, and I can't wait for it to get maybe a few years down the line of you going to movies with them, and then maybe revisit that.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's very cool stuff. But so Dune Part One. Let's start with Part One. Like I said, I want to keep it because I have a whole review out. I love this movie. I knew it was the start. I knew there was a Part One. There was going to be a Part Two. I know the story of Dune. I appreciate the story. And what they did in this first movie was brilliant in building Paul up as this character that you truly love and adore. And what he's doing when he's going about. Because by the time you get to the second movie, to see what he becomes, it's satisfying for people who are really fans of the story. So I love this movie. Denis Villeneuve is a genius auteur filmmaker. Man, give that guy clout to do anything, and you're going to get a great film. And I hope they let him continue on the stories with Dune the Messiah and maybe Children of Dune. Those would be an epic tale. But I have been talking about, and I want to let everybody know before we get into our Dune 2 review. Dune, it had been relayed to me that Dune 2 was 2/3 of the way of the book. That is not the case. Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 are the first book. It is Dune. It's from beginning to end. Anything after is a continuation of books. So, Dune Part 1 and 2, very well told story, condensed, and leaves it open to go into the future. So I said I love the story. Before I give my rating, I'm going to let you talk, Paul. Please go ahead.
All right, so Dune Part 1, I had seen the original, the 1984 version of it. And even though it's very, I mean this in the essence of the actual term of the word, it's a very queer movie. It's just weird. It's out there. It's frilly. You can see the wires when they're moving around. I still enjoyed the 84 for what it was. So going into this, I was like, it can't be worse. And I was blown away by the coloring of it, the cinematography of it. Like you said, the character development I thought was beautiful. You felt everything. You got to see Paul grow. You kind of got to feel everything he was feeling from, fear, wanting to be this, can't be in that, knowing what's going on. Dune Part 1 made me very excited for everything else that was going to come out as far as this franchise.
Very cool. I love that. And I also love your rating for this too. And because I know we more so want to talk about Dune Part 2, which is the big one. Mm-hmm. It's very cool to rewatch this again since 2021. Held up just as strong, in my opinion. It's a great movie. And my rating for this and your rating are very similar. You gave it a 4.6 and I gave it a 4.5. That was it. And here's okay. So I love the movie. Every problem I have with the movie, with in both movies, all of the problems I have are merely mine. They're just, I didn't click with this.
Right.
So with that being said, this could be the perfect, like, Part One's not a perfect movie. Part Two's not a perfect movie. Part One and Two together,
right?
Yeah, I can see that is a perfect movie for me.
Absolutely can agree with that.
That now, for that reason, you are always going to get usually a point off. If you have to rely on more than one movie, then you're an incomplete movie, and I can't give you a perfection.
Right.
So that's my ratings. I don't hold anybody else to that. That is me personally. So that, with a couple of other little choices here and there along the way, which are so minuscule, I shave off half a point. I put this at 4.5. Now, 4.6 for you is very strong. You have anything you want to add to your rating?
Like you said, I mean, I just haven't come across a perfect movie. When I come across a perfect movie, I know I'll know.
You haven't watched The Godfather yet? I will always be a perfect movie to me.
Interesting. We're gonna have to talk about that later. It was close to being a perfect movie for me. Like you said, there were certain parts I wish they had almost expanded more on. Certain relationships I wish they had kind of highlighted a little bit longer, just because I enjoyed seeing certain characters on screen together. So it's more of a personal reason why it didn't get a fuck. Kind of like you said, like, it's not necessarily, they didn't fuck up. It's just, I personally wanted, X, Y, and Z, and I didn't get quite X, Y, and Z, but they still got 4.6.
Dude, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like 4.5, that's my cutoff. That's where I'm going to stick with it, because I usually don't dabble in points for my own, to keep it straight. If I can have everything rounded, I'm good.
Right.
But I had to give the first movie a damn near perfect score. It's just too freaking good.
Right.
And James says, for me, Part Two is better than Part One, but not both were an absolutely stellar unit. It's funny to say that. I do think, and we'll get right into it, I personally think that Part Two is a better movie overall. And I won't say that with everything, but I think from beginning to end, it's a better told story, it's a better movie, it flows better. The first one's very good, but this second one was on such an epic scale.
Yes.
Every aspect of this was beautiful, shot perfectly, acted perfectly. The story is told beautifully. This is what I miss from the original movie, is that, like, the story is so choppy and you're not getting all of the little details that you need. And yeah, there's some adaptation here, but adding Austin Butler, he was a great addition. He played the parts of Fayed so well. Seeing more of Chani, played by Zendaya, and Javier Bardem's Stigler character, they enhanced their performances, enhanced this movie in such a way. And Josh Brolin too, he needs a mention in this. Like, everyone, but my top, from beginning to end, the two people who destroyed in their roles in this movie are Rebecca Ferguson as especially when she comes to Reverend Mother. But Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, and of course Timothée Chalamet as Paul, like in Muad'Dib. It's so well done. This whole story is perfect, and I'm hating the narrative that's being pushed online right now of it's a movie about white saviorism. It's not. If anything, this is exactly like Dune. That's never what Dune was supposed to be. Paul's always been the bad guy.
Right.
You didn't see it in the first one, so you don't want to believe it now. And that's how they pull the wood from. Like, by the time you get to the end of this, you're like, oh, this guy is going to destroy everything, and he doesn't care about the people he has taken under. Like, it's the burden of leadership, knowing he has to be, in order to get revenge and to get what he wants, and to take that power that his father said needed to come to him, he just goes and destroys everything.
Right.
I want to push that to people, because I have been hearing this a lot lately about the white saviorism. I was like, if anything, they're saying white saviorism is wrong. But that's not the point of this. This is a tale, but you're right. I've said a lot about it. Before we get to our ratings, I want to hear what you have to say about it.
But just to expand on that, I hate when people try to look at something other than what it is. This isn't, supposed to be a woke movie or anything like that. It's not supposed to be political.
No, it is. It is.
But not.
But idealistically.
Right.
Sorry, I don't mean to, so people don't lose on that. Anybody who's listening or watching, like, it is. It's very much how we've treated the Muslim and especially people of color communities all over the world, especially in the Middle East. So, like, there's a political statement here, and there's a very anti-American statement, because if you really think about it, the Atreides is America.
Right.
And
They're
then
still in
the
the oil and all,
Harkonnens
yeah.
are, you back then could probably consider the Russians, who they're evil, and then you have the Atreides, who are also evil.
Right.
And the Emperor, his house, runs the balance, knowing who everybody is. This was a setup to try and stop the bullshit the Atreides were willing to do.
Right.
You know, they weren't evil in the sense that they were doing things. They were evil in the sense that they were willing to do things. Like, you know, it's we can do a whole episode just on that. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No. You're good. I'm just saying, you know, it's not in your face like that. I just get tired when it's just bullshit. I'm watching it for a fucking movie. Like, I'm not sitting there trying to, oh, well, this makes me feel some type of way about my fucking parents just because they're white. Like, I get tired of that shit all the fucking time, because it's what a lot of it is. Anyway, as just a movie, absolutely loved it. I was blown away by both of those characters that we were talking about earlier, especially Timothy. I thought, because I knew these scenes were coming where, you know, he had to use his actual voice and actually seem like he was, for all better terms, becoming a man, you know, growing up. And I was scared that, you know, he might lose it in interpretation where it's just going to seem a little weak, where you're like, oh, okay. But like, I bought everything he said that whole movie,
and that's
solid.
I fucking love it that you said that. I bought everything he said, because that was the point. He was selling it, and he was okay with he sold it to the point where he believes it. And that's what I mean by that is like with the Atreides being America and stuff like that. And to go back, it's not in your face, but that is the colonialism, right? They're both are colonizing in different ways. One by force, the other one's coming in and trying to assimilate, you know, and lead through religion. That's why this movie isn't forced. It tells you straight out, this is how we can do this. This is how you subjugate people. So it's such an interesting way to do it. And you know, for that, ratings for this are the same. You did a 4.6, I did a 4.5 for the very same reasons. The only casting thing I didn't love in this was Christopher Walken as the Emperor.
Okay, that's fair.
This is a snob thing for me.
Okay.
It's a preference. So it's a snob thing for me. I get it. But like back in the day, like when you did a movie where that you needed somebody very regal or you know, in an emperor or kingly state, it's like you went to the well. And I love Christopher Walken as an actor, but I don't consider him one of the greatest living actors of all time. No, I would consider him, Christopher Walken, a great icon of acting, especially in a pop culture sense. And I love Christopher Walken and I love his roles, but this movie to me felt like it needed, like, you know, the last movie had Max von Sydow. Like that's a big deal. Like that's a regal thing, you know, like this type of acting, like from the old guard. I felt like that's what you needed. You needed that gravitas for the Emperor, because at the end, when Christopher Walken kisses the ring, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel the Emperor hating the fact that he has to do this and knowing he needed to do what he did to stop this, and he still didn't stop, and it's here. Right. You know, so it's like, I'm so like, I just wish it had, I don't know who, I don't want to say, I don't want to just throw anybody out there, but like, it just didn't feel like good casting on my part. Yeah. No, I can absolutely agree with that. And there's certain people, selfishly, I would have enjoyed almost like an Anthony Hopkins or someone like that, just to be in that role. Have that gravitas. Yeah, I agree. Because I believe I think he would have sold the shit out of it. I'm not downing, you know, Christopher Walken. He, like you said, he's amazing. He deserves his due. And he did a good job in this, but he just seemed like the character there. It wasn't the Emperor. You didn't see the internal anguish of, like you said, him hating he had to kiss that ring. He just kind of, he did it, but it wasn't. He was like, all right, I'll survive. Like, yeah. And now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that was just a choice of direction, stuff like that. But I feel like if you have, even if it was played exactly the same, but if you have somebody that's like a, man, Christopher Plummer almost would have been perfect for it. You know, to play that role, you know, God rest his soul. But I don't, you know, I'm drawing a blank of like today's older actors. Michael Caine. Shit. Oh, Michael Caine would have been really good in that, I think. Those are my two for it, is Anthony Hopkins or Caine, but that's just Clint Eastwood. Well, no, not Clint Eastwood. No. I immediately regretted saying that. A side note for Dune that I've been trying to tell a lot of we'll say people my age with their kids. What? No, I'm just saying, just a little side note. No. I got it. And it connects to Dune 1984. Patrick Stewart.
holy shit.
Tell me Patrick Stewart in that Emperor role wouldn't have been a great.
That would have been awesome.
Now,
that would have been
again,
fucking epic.
I don't want to take anything away from Christopher Nolan. I love him, but like now you have the connection to the '84 Dune. He's a very Shakespearean face and voice, and he has such a powerful, commanding presence. Imagine him kissing that ring.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been so good. I don't think anybody else could have pulled it. Or Ian McKellen maybe, but I think Ian McKellen would have definitely pulled it off and it would have been great. With that same presence,
right? But
it was Patrick Stewart being in the original, right? I think that would have just been like such a beautiful connection. God damn it, Dennis! No, I couldn't. No, but guys, I will say this, and I think Paul, you might agree with me on this. These two movies together are it's a 10 film.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a family film in my opinion, because my little brother, just to give context of age, he's 11. He saw the first Dune, understood it, absolutely loved it, respected it, and he absolutely was enthralled with part 2 as well. So I'll say, don't write it off thinking it's too intricate for general audience or younger audience to understand, because I think it's told well enough to where they understand. They might not get the politics like we do as adults, but they will still enjoy it. So take your kids to see this too.
This is the same story as Star Wars told better. It's just it's the same. It's Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. It's exactly the same. Go watch it and you'll see. But it's better because it's a better told story, because it has all those elements that are hidden. It's a better idea of what an empire is. It's a better idea of what a rebellion is and how they come out. So like, yes, get in it and you will understand it. You don't have to get all of those little things like we were arguing about earlier to get this movie. It's a well-told story. All right, let's finish out this episode with a mixed movie pick from 1956. I ended this way different than I started. This is well, that's not what I meant, but yeah, it's true. Wow, that didn't parallel well. So you're watching this clip later, go back and watch the podcast and you'll fully understand why. Great promotion. So 1956, The Killing. It's a Stanley Kubrick film. It's about a heist. It's a really well done movie. It's really well shot. I mean, everything you get from Kubrick, but it's early Kubrick. This is him really playing with playing with a lot of things. It's not it feels epic, but it's not as epic as you would get from a Stanley Kubrick or you would think of. This is before Paths of Glory. This is before Spartacus and all of even that era of Kubrick. It's right before he exploded. So this is a very cool one to check out because it's really well done and different, and it's a cool film noir and a heist movie. So I say check it out. I don't want to give you too much information about it because it's worth just getting into and kind of having some fun with. So that's my mixed movie pick. Guys, thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate you listening. Bye.